Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Horny Football Podcast. Here's a quick look at what's coming up this week on episode 8. We're going to be taking a look back at all the Premier League Matchweek 9 action, including Manchester City's win at home to Brighton. We'll have all the talking points from Bramall Lane as Sheffield United suffer yet another Premier League defeat, as well as Arsenal's late comeback from 2 goals down to rescue a point away to Chelsea, and all the other Premier League Matchweek 9 action. So strap yourselves in, it's going to be a good one. Alright, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Horny Football Podcast. So starting out at the Etihad, Manchester City running now 2-1 winners at home to Brighton. Rob, we'll start with you on this one. Haaland back amongst the goals, City back amongst the win after 3 domestic losses in a row. Looking at the game, Brighton didn't really seem to get going in that game.
No, it was nearly the Rodri effect straight away. City becomes such a better team with an actual good centre defensive mid. Because they don't really have anyone else. Like Kovacic is in the centre defensive mid.
Rico Lewis is pretty terrible as well.
Rico Lewis, he's not great. Like, he's not that great of a young player. What's his name? Calvin Phillips. He's non-existent. He's in the hospital bed still, pretty much. City, the goals were dirty enough as well, but the win's a win, especially against Brighton, who are always dangerous. It's a poor loss for Brighton, though. They never really got going, and they really struggled to do anything in it. And I'd say it'll feel a bit. Feel like, it was just a bad day at the office for them. Although a 2-1 loss away to City is not a bad result, I still think they'll feel hard done by.
But even when Man City went down to 10 men, Akanji got the second yellow. They didn't really push forward. Like, Mitoma had 2 pretty good chances. He missed them both. And then they got their goal eventually. But after that, they kind of just never really looked like they were pushing for a second one.
No, you'd wonder what it is with them. Like, did they just think that they weren't going to be able to do it anyways, or was there more to it? Maybe just tired legs, from a lot of football being played. Don't really know. We'll see how they get on now this weekend, kind of to bounce back. I said a 2-1 loss away to City is not a bad result, especially for Brighton. Like, so I don't think they'll be too annoyed, but I think they'll let themselves down a bit by not going for it a bit more.
Yeah, Aaron, on to you now. With Haaland's goal, we talked about it last week, the week before the international break. Kind of Brighton living and dying by this pressing or this passing out from the back. We've seen it again for Haaland's goal. Trying to pass up from the back, made a mistake, and Haaland, good finish from outside the box. His 61st goal for City, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, it's going back to Brighton just passing out from the back. It's kind of just killing them a few times a game, really.
Yeah, they seem to be interchanging a lot in the team that starts, and I don't know, they don't seem settled at the moment. I don't know what the problem is there, but De Zerbi obviously hasn't got the 11 that's suiting them right now, or for something. Do they even have that much injuries? I don't think, but I'm not sure. But whatever's going wrong there, it's just not happening for them.
Yeah, he kind of got it wrong with James Milner starting on the right there against Jeremy Doku, who got absolutely toasted, came off at half time.
Yeah,
poor lad. Like we touched on Haaland, but we'll talk about Alvarez now. That's his 17th goal in 17 home games for City. Like, he's top quality. He was a bit fortunate, don't get me wrong, but top quality player, man.
Yeah, if he was anywhere else, he would be their number 1 player. Like, he would be out. He's just an outrageous player. And to think that they bought him from River Plate for so little is crazy to think about. And another thing as well, like, we're meant to be linked with everyone, but apparently we were linked with him. And the fact that we missed out on him, it just enrages me to this day.
Fair enough. All right, moving on then to Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 1, Manchester United 2. Another late showing for Manchester United. Johnny, we'll start with you. Sheffield kind of, I'm not going to say dominated, but they were the better team for large periods of the game, especially in the first half. For large periods of that first half, they were the better team. United a bit fortunate to kind of get the goal that they got from McTominay. Dallow's winner is just absolutely sensational goal. But were United lucky, or just an all-round dogged display away from home, happy 3 points?
I'm not sure what game you're watching when you said Sheffield a better team most of the game. I don't think they were.
Whoa, just take it easy, man.
I thought we were poor,
I think they were.
Controlling a lot of it. I think the second half were quite poor as 2 bad teams. McTominay playing like prime Fellaini Saturday evening. Chaos in both boxes. The second half, I thought United controlled it much more, and it did feel that the goal was coming. It just took something like that. When you're in the run of form that we're in and playing the way we are, it takes a goal like that. It's sensational strike from Delors. There's only so many times you can kind of get dug out like that. But overall, Sheffield were very, very dogged. We were quite poor in the first half, no real control at all. Second half, much, much better. And I did feel the second goal was coming. But yeah, if you're Sheffield, you have to be very happy with that. Like, that's only like United are the second, because City found it hard there as well earlier in the season too. So they're a good team at home, and that's something that we can stand to them going on further in the season. You know, it is still very early, and there is a dogfight going on there with 5 teams, so they can put up that their home form maybe can try and put them in a fight with staying up. But they did well. They were dogged. They stuck in, especially with some of the beatings they took this season so far. It does stand to them how dogged they've been, and they've made it very difficult for a while. But United are very good at making it hard for themselves too.
Yeah. Oisin, with you now, another kind of quiet game for Marcus Rashford and Højlund as well. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 chances between them throughout the game. I think it was just the way kind of the game was going. But just the two of them, like Højlund hasn't scored at all in the Premier League yet. Rashford, we touched on, he only has 1 Premier League goal. Like City coming up next, you'd want them to kind of start refinding some sort of form, especially Rashford. Højlund, you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, he's only a young kid, Premier League, you know, the kind of hopes of Manchester United on his shoulders, we'll say. So yeah, like Marcus Rashford, you're leaning towards, you know, more authority in the game now.
Yeah, I think what I noticed about that game more than anything is that if you think of the end of or the start of the new year, a lot of the ball was going to Rashford. It came across a few times that players weren't kind of looking for Rashford a few times, apart from Harry Maguire. There was a period in the second half where he made 4 outrageous long balls straight to Rashford's feet, right in the wing. But Rashford had no end product to it. I think he, out of the 4 passes he got, he completed 2 dribbles past the opposing defender. The other 2 times he lost it straight away. Højlund, look, he's not getting the service. It's as simple as that. He's a poaching. He's an all-out number 9. He's a poaching striker. He's only young as well, so he is finding his feet, but he's just not getting the service. You're right. They need to find some form, or find something come Man City, because
Højlund's been playing well though, hasn't he?
I think he has, but he just hasn't
from what I've seen, he has been playing pretty well. He gets in good positions. He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good on the ball.
Yeah.
He's very strong.
He just needs the service, because his hold up play and his ball control is brilliant. His passing is very good too. I think in that game in particular, his long range passing was actually a lot better than I thought it was. He was very direct through balls. But he just with his back to goal, it was better than I thought it was as well. So look, he's a lot to get through for the rest of the season. He needs more service. When the service is coming through, you'll start seeing more of the Højlund that we all expect. But Rashford is I'm not quite sure what to say about Rashford. I still think he needs to be dropped. I don't think against Man City is probably the game that you're going to drop him. But should Rashford come up with nothing against City, I think he needs to find a seat in the bench just for a game or two, and just
take him out of the limelight for a second.
Yeah, I think
to reset himself. Yeah.
It's hard.
I think a new formation should be done. Højlund and Rashford up front together.
4-4-2.
They played that way for a few months against Galatasaray. I know Galatasaray defensively aren't great, but the runs they're making is brilliant, and they can both push out wide. They can both go either side. That'd be brilliant now.
Yeah,
quickly now, lads. Just on tonight's Champions League game, 1-0 win for United at home to Copenhagen. 94th minute penalty save from Onana.
96th, really.
96, doing the world of confidence. That's what he needed, right? You boys were happy enough in the group chat, like happy for Harry Maguire as well, right?
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Like he made a brilliant save as well in the first half. So
before that,
so you're right. It'll do him the world of good. He needed something like that to happen.
But now it's Manchester City coming up next.
Yeah,
so.
But maybe that's the perfect time. Maybe it's the perfect time to get something like that. So
that was a good time.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good time. That was a good time to make that save. No one was expecting him. No one was expecting him to make that save.
What was that, Johnny?
Seasons can turn on moments. Seasons can turn on moments. You know, things can happen, and suddenly you spark into life. So that could be it, or it could be. Look, we could be talking here next week and get demolished by City.
All right, on to Anfield next. Liverpool eventually running out 2-0 winners at home to Everton. Johnny, we'll start with you for this one. Liverpool were pretty dominant for nearly all the game. It did kind of change in the first half when Ashley Young got a second yellow. I don't know what he was thinking. He's kind of just lost the head a little bit. He was already on a yellow card, and to make the tackle he did. Completely changed the game. Now, saying that, it did take Liverpool 75 plus minutes to actually break Everton down. And in fairness, then to Sean Dyche, he started, he actually went for a result. He didn't, try and like limit the damage kind of thing. He didn't put on extra defenders. He actually went, put on other strikers and other attacking players, stuff like that, to try and go for it. And unfortunately, Liverpool on the counter-attack, Salah finished it and put the game to bed. But Liverpool were very wasteful in this game. Like, they played very well, don't get me wrong, but they were very wasteful at the same time.
Yeah, I also thought it was probably one of Everton's best performances this year.
Yeah, definitely it was. Yeah,
and I think more performances like that will see them stay up. I thought they were really good. Liverpool were quite wasteful, but they make so much. I think it was one of those games where they just couldn't keep the control. The ball was always bounced up and down because the attack they have. They're electric. Like for me, it's probably the best attack in the league.
Yeah, when you players like Diaz, Salah, Jota, Nunes, and they all want to score goals. You know what I mean? They're kind of selfish in their own right, which is fair enough. But
yes, I don't think that's where they're lacking, and the lack of a midfield. Like, they are average in midfield. They're average defensively. That's why Everton didn't really bother them too much going forward.
Yeah.
They had maybe DCL had one chance towards the end of the first half, or early in the first half, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's one of those where we also have to look at it. Ashley Young was poor. Don't give it. It is definitely a red card. The Konate one though is a very poor decision as well.
Yeah.
Very, very poor decision.
Change the game.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have changed the game. It's a yellow card.
It was still nil at that stage as well when he made. And then Klopp
changed the game.
Exactly. And Klopp hoofed him off directly after he made that tackle. So
he knew it was
no calls for replays there either. I wonder why.
Exactly.
So, but no, I think it was one of those where look at Liverpool looked so good going forward. I do think part of me thinks, geez, are they in the title race? I think they're so bang average defensively in midfield, they will get caught out. Going forward, they're unreal, but it will get to a stage where that just won't be enough. We always see it, they're always as a team. But really good win for them, and for Everton, one of those performances where you can take a bit of. It's the derby, you don't want to. But we all thought here last week that was going to be a bad one for them.
Yeah, we were all saying 4-3, 4 or 5-0.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of those that okay, well, we had decisions go again, and because the way the game went, they can take a bit of solace. Well, the ref kind of beat us, because it wasn't. Yeah. They did get it was a penalty as well, which it was a stonewall penalty, no doubt about it. But it took a penalty and a breakaway goal at the end to beat them. So it kind of worked out a bit for both teams.
Yeah. Rob, just touching on what Johnny said there, are we going to consider Liverpool title contenders? They're on a little bit of a good run. Obviously, like that Spurs game, you kind of don't want to. They lost the game, obviously, but I think they were the better side. They probably deserved more than the loss. But are they kind of just quiet? They're quietly getting results there. They're not playing overly fantastic, but they're getting the results. They're keeping in touch. They're only a point behind City and Arsenal.
Yeah. I don't say we can't put them as title contenders because City are in the same boat. City were kind of not limping along, but pretty much limping along. Still grinding out results when they could. A few bad results without Rodri, but you got to say they're title contenders. Up there with Spurs and Arsenal, they are the four that's in the race. It'll be fun to see now who's where come Christmas time, with big fixtures coming up and that. But of course, it's Liverpool. They're definitely going to be in the title race.
Yeah. All right, moving on then to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea throwing away a 2-goal lead against Arsenal. Aaron, let's start with you. Chelsea were very good, actually, in the first half. They were very, very good side. They looked like creating a lot more than Arsenal. The penalty they got, initially I was like, 100% penalty. But then you see a lot of the pundits and stuff, and even PGMOL were coming out. I don't know if they actually came out with an apology. There's talks of them coming out with an apology over the game, over that decision, and another one that we'll talk about later on. But yeah, Chelsea definitely deserved to have their lead at halftime. First half, they were just very, very good.
Yeah, I would say so. And it was something that I kind of seen coming because in Stamford Bridge, with Arsenal having all the momentum, it's a perfect game for Chelsea. No one's expecting anything from them, I mean. So they're going to go out there, take the game, take them by surprise. It's most players' first London derby, so they're just they're going to go for it. The penalty, I'm not going to dwell on it too much. It was a penalty. It wasn't actually a penalty. It shouldn't have been, but it was, and it was scored. It wouldn't have made a difference in the overall score of the game, I don't think. And
was Cole Palmer looking to be on the pitch? I think his tackle was a very very bad tackle.
Cole Palmer's probably should have got a second yellow, to be fair. But yeah.
Yeah, when he was asking for he's already on the yellow, and he was asking the ref to give one of the Arsenal players a yellow, which by the letter of the law is another yellow. So
yeah, this is the thing. Like, we're going to talk every game we're going to talk about here. There's going to be a decision, some VAR thing. So there's probably better off just to analyze the football and not fucking dwell on the refs' fucking stupid decisions. To be honest.
And that second half, Aaron, obviously Mudryk getting a fluky out goal. But Chelsea, 2-0 up, Arsenal still had all the possession. They never really panicked. I mean, we weren't creating a whole lot until obviously Sanchez made an error and Rice scored a very good goal. But yeah, Chelsea kind of, they just sat back on a 2-goal lead, which is pretty, I'm not going to say elementary, but, they kind of invited all the pressure onto them.
Yeah, they did it to themselves in a way. They allowed Arsenal to play around with the ball where they weren't on their game at all that day. There were a lot of backwards and sideways going on, so to be honest, yeah, you're right. Chelsea should have just tried their best to hold possession, but they didn't. They sat off and allowed the passing around the back, and we know the modern game now, that's what teams need to do. They need to gain momentum by passing around and getting a bit more confident and creating mistakes. And that's how Arsenal got back into the game. And to be honest with you, I don't think they deserved the point, but they got it in the end anyway. Yeah.
Oisin, just touching on that quickly, like, I know we said it in the group chat as well, like Arsenal, in fairness, 2 goals down away from Stamford Bridge, not playing well at all. I don't think there was a single player who, Trossard when he came on played very well, but like out of starting 11, there was no player who played very well at all. So it's kind of, is Arsenal showing that they do have that dogged side in them, that they're willing to fight back and they nearly won it as well. And Nketiah had a chance late on, and he just hit it wide. But Arsenal fight back, 2 goals down. You'll take the point.
Yeah, but to counteract that, there's a few instances of Chelsea missing some decent opportunities throughout the game as well. Raya had a mishap at the start of the game where he passed it out. Palmer got the ball, ran around, and only for good defending, stopped Palmer from getting the shot away perfectly. I think before that as well, Palmer got a shot off in between Saliba's legs that just narrowly went wide. But yes, Nketiah's shot was just shy wide of the right hand side. But I was just thinking of it there. You were saying about the apology to Arsenal over the Saliba penalty. I don't think that was it. I think it was when Sanchez nearly sweet chin music.
From what I've seen, from what you posted today, they were talking about the two of them.
I agree with us, Shane. Yeah,
I think.
But again, that's Sanchez fucking clobbering Jesus.
Yeah, but in saying that too, Sanchez, I have to say, the second goal for Trossard, he needs a stronger hand to that. It's right beside him. It's not like it's a mile wide. His hand is there where the ball went to. Not a strong enough hand. He's just shown that he's not a good keeper. You can see now why De Zerbi dropped him at the midway through last season and for Steele. And now Steele isn't playing predominantly for Brighton. So it's kind of one of those things. But no, I don't think... Well, the only player I thought was actually decent for Arsenal in the game that I watched was Gabriel. I thought he had a good game. He didn't miss too many passes. His tackle was quite good. He had one moment in the game where he barged... what's his name? Sterling. Fairly well off the ball. Sterling, had knocked the ball past him, but Gabriel kind of bullied him off. That didn't give away a foul, but defensively it was quite clear because then it was defensively cleared. So it wasn't a great game to watch. The atmosphere was shit. You know what I mean? It was
terrible atmosphere.
But I don't think. I think Chelsea were good absolutely brilliant in the first half. But at the end of it, I don't think either team deserved to win that. There was no one really that should have come out deserving winners there. So yeah.
I just want to put it to all you there. Sorry.
I don't think Arsenal would have drawn the game. The goal from Sanchez let them back into it. They were playing so poorly up until that happened. Had Sanchez not made the mistake, I think Chelsea would have went down to win probably 2-0.
There you go. I mean,
I would have bet you in draft.
Right. I couldn't believe it was on the 72nd minute. We thought it was up to 90 mark. It was such a long second half, and all of a sudden it was only 72nd minute. We couldn't believe it. It was such a draw game, and only for Sanchez's mistake, that's what fucked Chelsea up. They were cruising to a 2-0 win. They were poorly cruising, but Arsenal were showing nothing. Like, I couldn't believe the sack was played when they got to half time. So I haven't seen him. So Sanchez is completely at fault for it.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah,
so.
I just want to put it out to you there. Zinchenko has had a pretty bad start this season.
He's gonna cry.
He made Sterling look world class, man, and he rightfully so. He came off at half time. Arteta just got him off, got Tomiyasu on, and then Sterling was pretty much non-existent. I think we kind of just have to start going with Tomiyasu now. Like, Zinchenko just it's fine. Like, he goes forward, he's all right. Like, when he slots into that midfield role, he's good passing, he's good on the ball, but just defensively, he's shocking. He's no pace. He doesn't know how to tackle. He's just a liability left back. I think Tomiyasu, obviously with Timber out, I think if we had Timber, he'd be starting left back, and Zinchenko probably on the bench for Tomiyasu.
Well, I saw a video there about 2 weeks ago on some fella on TikTok was highlighting Zinchenko's play last season to this season, that teams are now aware of what he's trying to do in terms of going into the midfield. So they're cutting him off early because he's not exactly a bullish defender. He's quite weak and timid. So I must look at it and see if I can find it and show you. But it was quite highlighting in the fact that Zinchenko last year was doing something that teams didn't acute to very well. This year they're on him
everyone knows it.
They know what he's going to do.
Now.
Everyone does it now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, like, it's just like he goes in the midfield and then kind of Gabriel goes left back, and then we were so shy at the back, and that's how we conceded a lot of goals. But
do you think he's going in January for another left back? Do you wait for Timber? Timber.
Well, Timber probably will be back in March, but even then he probably won't be fit and ready to go. Probably April
next season. Yeah, it was ACL.
It was his knee.
ACL, I think it was.
He'll never be the same.
He'll
never be the same.
No.
But in fairness, he's young, so you never know. He might kind of stand to him because he's young. It'll probably
you're always
still might not be as bad, but I think
you'd want a left back, wouldn't you? Another one.
I know, like Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu is very comfortable at left back. He's been playing. When he's come on, he's been very, very well. He played tonight. He played very well. But he's just. I don't think he can get the full 90 minutes out of him. Tomiyasu, so
challenging for a league and go far in Champions League, is he enough, or is them two enough? Maybe so. But
maybe, but then Tomiyasu is also covered for Ben White at right back. So if Ben White gets injured, then we're rightly fucked. Like Thomas Partey is injured again. He had a muscle injury, probably from fucking his from his fucking gender reveal the other day. I heard he was like he kicked the ball or something and it exploded, and everyone's saying that's how he injured his muscle or something. So
that's serious.
I don't know if that's true. Now get that man out the gap. Like he's not fit anymore. Like get 40 million from him in January and then move on somewhere else.
Can I just point out?
Yeah.
Can I just point out that I said Zinchenko and Jesus were City rejects, and that they wouldn't stand too well in your team in the long run.
Jesus golden assist tonight against Seville in the Champions League.
That's fine. But you're crying out for
unbelievable goal.
You're crying out for a new number 9. You want that number 9 to win you the league, and it's not Gabby Jesus, and you know it.
You don't believe Sevilla is the only good team there.
He's a winger.
You should.
Do you think
Regulon?
Aaron, do you think now if we are still in the hunt and come January we get Ivan Toney in? Is Ivan Toney that player?
Ivan Toney or Watkins, someone like that, definitely.
All right, up next then, Villa Park. Aston Villa running out 4-1 winners over West Ham. Rob, starting with you, West Ham.
Watkins, best player in the world.
All right, Oisin, on to you. West Ham conceded 13 goals in the last 5 games. We talked about how well they started the season. They're they played a lot of tough teams, and don't get me wrong, Aston Villa have won 11 games in a row at home. So is it kind of one of those things where all right, fair enough, West Ham, toss it away, move on, or was it just a really, really bad performance?
It was a really, really good Villa performance.
Right.
To be perfectly honest, I don't think that West Ham were overly bad, as in they weren't diabolical. They had a few opportunities in the game. I think it's purely down to Villas were just unplayable. Douglas Luiz got before his goal, he took a shot that was going top bins, and Areola made a serious save. Only about 2 minutes before he got his goal. West Ham. I feel bad because you are right, they're conceding quite a lot of goals. So defensively, and we all said at the start of the season, they're not strong defensively. They don't have any standout names in defence apart from the cat kicker. What's his name? Zuma.
Zuma.
Yeah. So So.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but their midfield is doing really well, and like Ward-Prowse is playing well. Bowen is on form. Suchek is on form. Look, on the back of what happened last year for West Ham, they're doing well this year.
Yeah,
they have a
they're
few
doing
more
well.
nooks and crannies. I think they get a good defensive player. They get if they're not going to start playing Kudus as striker all the time, you have to go out and buy a striker. I know we spoke about this something times. Strikers that go to West Ham never seem to do well, but I guarantee anyone's going to do better than that Antonio cunt, because I think he's shit. But yeah, all in all, it was a serious performance by Villa, more so than a bad performance by West Ham.
Yeah.
That's how your cat feels. That's how your cat feels. That's how your cat feels.
Thanks for that.
All right. Okay.
Every time he gets kicked or injured.
Yeah.
Rob, Ollie Watkins, 5 goals, 5 assists in Premier League. No secret that I don't fancy him too much, but yeah, he's starting very, very well.
Yeah, but nearly all the Villa team are anyways. He has scored some great goals as well, some really good assists. But credit to Emery for bringing us out of Watkins and the whole team. Really, like at home, they're a dangerous team. No one is going to like to go there. I think 4-1 could be, a very, very popular scoreline in Villa Park for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Like I do fear even United going there, because they could easily go fucking wayward so quickly. Like they're just such a, like the fans get behind them so well so quickly.
Yeah.
It's just so in your face. Like they're just the way they play football is very, very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, great atmosphere.
Overall, good team. And the thing with Aston Villa now, they've built a bit of a squad, like as well. They're not just a team of 11. They have good players coming in. Like during the summer, signing Leon Bailey coming in, scoring. He hasn't been great since he arrived last season, but he's still there. Like Diaby's still playing right with. Some really, really good players.
Bailey's goal was unreal.
They're fifth in the league, like obviously 4 points behind Spurs. They have a nice little run. They have Luton at home this weekend and Nottingham Forest away, and then in between like Europa League games, and then it's Fulham at home, and then they kind of get into a bit of a tricky spell. But the next 3 games, like 2 of them being at home, they'll probably get 9 points out of those games.
You could probably say 9 points, about 10 to 12 goals and 3 clean sheets. Like that's how good form they're in. And imagine saying that about Villa, like.
Yeah, well, after them games, they have Tottenham away to Bournemouth, and then City and Arsenal then both go to Villa Park. So then
so their home form will be fine. It's their away form to get a bit kind of tangled in, but saying that they're still brilliant team.
Still a very good team.
One of many really good teams in the league, which is good. I suppose that's kind of to do with the sponsorship money as well. Like they're all spending it.
Yeah,
that's why there was now seven or 8 really good teams in the Premier League, from brilliant to good. Whereas Spain, you'd have 2 or 3, and Italy 2 or 3, and all that kind of crap. Like so, they just they've spent it well. Like good manager, everyone's in. Like they've all bought into the project.
The ownership as well has done really well. When he came out after Grealish, to Man City, explained that what he was going to do with the money, and he stuck true to his word. He used parts of the money to increase the facilities, the training facilities, and then invest into the team. And then he invested his own money into the team. He got some brilliant players. Bailey's goal, I was watching it again there today. Like his movement in the box to get away from the defender and get that shot off was unreal. For a player who not playing regularly this season, Watkins' goal was a thunderous shot.
Yeah, his the step over on the left foot rocket, like it looks so simple as well. He didn't go past the striker; he just brought it out of the air.
Yeah, he just brought exactly. He just gave himself the space and put his foot through it right over Areola, and even his layoff for Diaz's goal as well, because he looked like he was about to run into trouble. Douglas Luiz, he looked like he was about to run into the defender, but just sneaked it off straight to Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz powered it into the top corner. Like they are playing really good football.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, moving on to St James's Park. Newcastle United running out 4-0 winners at home to Crystal Palace. Aaron, I'll start with you with Crystal Palace. 5 games, only 1 goal. They're really missing like their big hitters like Olise and Eze.
Yeah, no, for sure. Of course, they went and beat us not long ago there. And then since then they just went to shite. Yeah, exactly. And then since then they went to shite. Like it's just classic United, it seems. But no, it's credit to Newcastle entirely. Like it's just their
home form is
outrageous at the moment. Yeah, they're very, very good.
Johnny, we kind of touched on Newcastle's their team as a whole, like the subs as well. Like the bench isn't fantastic, but one player, like I guess two players, Jacob Murphy and Callum Wilson, they're getting goals. Like they're really good alternating players for Isaac and Almiron. And like Callum Wilson, it's just banging in goals. He loves a goal.
Definitely, it's great cover to have. To know you have interchangeable strikers like that. It's fantastic. I know you have goals off the bench. It's such a rare thing in the league. To know you have that is serious. It's such a serious momentum swing. Just to say, right, come 60, now I know the game, they won it well, but they know that come 60, 70 minutes, they have these guys going off the bench that can change games, which is massive. Like we were speaking about Villa, they're all buying into the project. There's something serious going on there in Newcastle, especially not long ago, we were kind of questioning them, saying, well, what level are they? We're really at it. They come through that sticky patch really, really well. And they come out on the other side of it. They look dangerous. St. James Park, especially, because Palace don't really get turned over like that.
Palace a couple of years ago, but like when Roy Hodgson kind of went back the first time, he turned them into like a very. They always struggled for goals. That was always their big thing. They struggled to score goals, and again, just evident here today. But Palace, like we've touched on before, they're not
sucked in.
Sorry.
I think if they keep going this run, I'm not sure. They're surely not in danger of being sucked into that dogfight, but then you don't know.
Then you don't know. Like if you're not going to score goals,
continues for another 5 games.
Yeah, if you don't score goals, you don't win games, and then you're starting to struggle. Like if teams below you, if the teams below them are that bad that they're not even picking up results either, then they kind of get away with it. But you can't really go, much longer not scoring goals.
But like things can change very quickly. We said in the last couple of games, Luton has showed a small bit of form and stuff, and things can change very quickly in the league. Now, I don't think Palace are under any danger. To be honest, I don't. However, we've seen stranger things happen in the league down around there, especially with teams who don't have goals in them. Yeah. And another 5 games, if that was to go under the radar, I think there's another international break at the end of the month, isn't it? I think the end.
It's in November. I think it's the start of November, isn't it, or mid-November?
Or mid-November. So it's probably another 3 games until there. You don't want to be staring on the barrel of 3 further losses going into that break because you don't know what's going on behind you. You could get sucked into a dogfight there, which they don't want to be in.
All right, so another club doing very well, Tottenham. They won 2-0 at home to Fulham. Heung-min Son and James Maddison again. They're just class together.
Yeah, it was such a standard good Spurs performance that was nearly boring to watch. It was just so passively good, like decent from Spurs. Maddison, you just expect something to happen every time, even if it's over a free kick from 40 yards out, thinking, oh, here we go.
Well, it was funny because they got 2 really good free kicks.
And he
like really early on, he passed them off, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, shoot, he probably got scored either of them, like, but he passed them both off. Trying to be too
overconfident or something,
he's full of confidence. That's it. He's trying to do something different, which is nothing wrong with that.
No.
Are we going to consider? Are we going to consider? I don't want to say.
Like I said with Liverpool,
an elephant up a tree, isn't it?
It's 9 games in, and they're the only teams unbeaten. They haven't just played nobody's. Like they played a few good teams. I mean, United played Liverpool, played Arsenal. So they haven't just played, the bottom 10.
I think that's unfair though, because like we all said, Arsenal weren't going to do it like last season. This far in,
that's it.
Exactly.
So the same for Spurs. They're genuinely.
Like it's at the moment it's a four horse race. Like we've seen with City, it only takes them to lose one player for them to drop off. For Liverpool, it could be the same. If they lose Salah, they could drop off as well. Arsenal, they've been shaky enough for a couple of games where it's just like they're not clicking properly. Spurs obviously the exact same. If Maddison, or surely once Maddison gets injured, are they going to drop off? Like every team seems to be just one player away from just fucking collapsing. But until that happens, they are for sure in a title race.
Yeah. Oisín, are we also buying into this Ange Postecoglou fantastic manager thing? I mean, you can't follow all the results. All that matters is the results, but.
Is this going by your bitterness that he won the manager of the month 2 months in a row?
He shouldn't have won it.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was coming. Look,
I think whatever.
Look, there's only one way to put it. Like, you have to beat the team that's in front of you, no matter what way you've done it. And they've beaten most teams. They're unbeaten. They're playing good, attractive football. They're progressive. They're attacking. They're defending well. They're not pressed. Their high line isn't too overloading. I think, like, I love watching them. I have to say, I love watching them. I love listening to Ange Postecoglou too. Like, the one thing that's really impressing me is, we all knew how good Maddison was, and we knew that once he got into a good team, he'd be well. We know how good Son is. We've seen it before, but Romero. Like,
yeah, phenomenal. Yeah.
He's just been fucking, like, him and Mickey van der Ven at that time, like, they're made for each other. Romero, some of the tackles he was making, the clearances, his positional play, he was unreal in that game. He was actually my man in the match in that game. I thought he was unreal.
Yeah.
Has he even got a card this season?
He's got one yellow
he's
card.
Got one, yeah. I mean, comparison to last season, he probably had like fucking 2 red cards by this stage.
Like, don't forget as well that Fulham were very, very poor.
No, unreal. That could be 7-0.
Well. Like that's
7-0.
Yeah,
they were pretty terrible.
Very, very bad. To be fair, they never looked like a threat. To be fair,
that's true. Actually, we didn't talk about them at all.
But again, like we've said it as well. Like Oisin, I think it was Oisin that said it. You can only beat whoever's in front of you.
Yeah,
regardless of who they are.
Fulham are seemingly in trouble. Like, they don't have anyone.
They kind of get dragged into these phases where they can't win games, they can't score. They're missing Mitrovic big time.
Very true.
They haven't replaced them. I see Marco Silva signed a new contract, but like I think he's a better manager for what they are, to be honest. But I don't think he's like a top club manager.
Should have taken his money move, I think.
I just went there. 40 million a year. You should have just been done with that and went. But on Fulham, at the very start of the game, Paulinho had a header that was saved unbelievably by Vicario. I think it was in the first 10-15 minutes. After that, it was nearly like, oh fuck it, we're not going to score against these days, and they just disappeared. Tottenham, like, it could have been 6-0, 7-0. They were just all over them. Like, there was a moment at the end of the game where I think Son and Maddison were enjoying it too much. They got intertwined for the same shot that was kind of basically point blank on Leno, but Richarlison had it for as much as he is hot ass. Like, he had a fairly decent opportunity earlier in the game that missed the post. Why I say that much? That's a player that needs to score soon for his confidence. But they're Tottenham are playing savage football. Even if they lose now, whenever that happens, because that will happen, I have a feeling they're going to lose in style. You know.
All right, moving on then. Brentford 3, Burnley 0. A pretty dominant display for Brentford. Mbeumo and Wissa again getting on the score sheets, kind of refinding their form a little bit. It's Brentford's first win in 9 games, which came at a very good time because they definitely needed something. Aaron, I'll go to you for this one. Brentford needed that win.
Of course it did, 100%, as you said, first win in 9 games. But like, I don't think, for me, I look at teams and I say, oh, they're doing poorly, they're in trouble. But Brentford, I think, are a solid team. They lose. If they lose by a narrow amount usually, and then they have great players then to go and get them a goal, as you said, Wissa and Mbeumo. And the fact that they're missing their star man, their crazy star man, like, you know, it's you can feel for them in that regard, like. So.
Yeah. Rob, Burnley defensively poor again. They're leaking goals left, right, and centre.
Yeah, it was the perfect opposition for Brentford to play to get back on track. Burnley company's football isn't doing it for them now. No. They're definitely in trouble. Credit to Brentford though to keep coming back. Like, Thomas Frank is a brilliant manager for them. The way he plays their football, but Burnley are just in a bad place.
Very, very bad place, yeah.
Yes, them and like Luton. It's bad to say that Luton have probably better chance of survival than Burnley do. Like.
Yeah, and Burnley had their I think it was the 4th best record ever in the championship last season.
Yeah, and you're taking
it's kind of crazy how they can go from that and then just. I know that the level is so much different, but like, you know, we've seen teams come up and do well. Like, I just can't understand it.
Very naive, I think. Very naive.
Yeah, it's just the style of football that they're trying to play. They're trying to play as if they're, a Leicester City nearly or something like that. Like, where you can't when you're lower teams, it's all about stacking defense and counter attack and all that kind of stuff. You don't come up and you don't come up and be a 60% team. Like, you look at maybe Leeds, play off 30% and scored on the off chance.
Yeah. All right, moving on then. Nottingham Forest throwing away a 2-goal lead at home to Luton Town. Johnny, Luton will take so much confidence from this game. Nottingham Forest, not exactly the best team in the league, but being 2-0 down fighting your way back up, especially for Luton, who a lot of people are like, oh yeah, they're gonna be the worst team in history in the Premier League. But yeah, they'll take a lot of confidence.
That's a huge point.
Yeah,
massive
huge.
point for them. Like a couple of weeks ago, we were all relegating them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
look at
and they've
them,
got a couple of points. They got a couple of points since then.
Yeah, a bit of momentum is everything down at the bottom. It's absolutely everything, and that there, especially if you're Burnley or Sheffield, looking at that, it's like fuck. That's a kick in the gut for them. It's a massive 1 point for Luton. It'll feel massive now for them. It's a huge comeback. They could have easily rolled over 2-0 to take the beat and move on. But to come back like that. And Forest have had a pretty good start to the season also. So massive comeback for Luton. That's a huge plus for them. Like we were saying, momentum is massive. And they go on a run now in the next couple of games, get a winner. I'm not sure what their upcoming games are.
They're away to Aston Villa next, so I don't know about that.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be all over.
Just give us that bad time, but
that could be a record score right there. To be honest,
it could be.
Yeah.
Oisin, you don't know.
With Forest, they've performed decently in a lot of games, but they're not getting the results. Like they'll be hugely disappointed with this one. Like letting a 2-goal lead slip. Like this was the chance to kind of get 3 points, and they had most of the work done. They were 2 goals up at home.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I agree with you. I think they haven't been playing overly brilliant the last few games since has been out injured. They're like I'd say that now. Of course, Wood has scored 2 goals. I think he scored 3 in the last 2 games now. But
he probably could have scored 5 goals. Like he's just from the chances he had, there was a lot of poor finishing in that game. But it was a good game. But there was a lot of poor finishing in it.
Yeah, and I think Alanga as well. Like I think taking Alanga off was probably foolish because he was by far their best player on the pitch. He was destroying that left hand side. Maybe he was exhausted. He did kind of look tired near the end of it, but I still wouldn't have risked taking him off. But I don't know what you can say about it. Like Luton did brilliant to come back. They was very dogged because it could have been Jesus Christ, it could have been 4-5-0. But they're showing some decent resilience. I think, as Johnny said, we all had them down. I had them bottom.
Big time.
I think if they keep, because the last few performances they had have been fairly, they're showing something. They're showing something that a Premier League team needs. I still think they will go down, but they're going down. It seems like they'll go down with a fight. They won't go down without a fight, rather. And if they go down, it'll probably be 18th. Because they're showing more than Burnley and Sheffield United at the moment. Yeah,
absolutely. We'll move on then to Vitality Stadium. Another team doing so poorly. The Gary O'Neill derby, we'll call it. Wolves ran out 2-1 winners away to Bournemouth. Aaron, quickly with this one, huge win for Gary O'Neill. Just kind of like a FU Bournemouth kind of thing. Like he went on Sky Sports then and like. Which is really it was crazy how he was on Sky Sports like 2 days after, but then kind of showing how he beat Bournemouth. Like it was kind of a real slap in the face for Bournemouth.
Yeah, 100%. No, it is a good win for Gary O'Neill, but like Wolves have been very solid now for the last while. Since losing to us, I think they're getting results they're not expected to get, and they're just playing well. Neto is just a class player. Like he shouldn't be. He won't be at Wolves for very long, I don't think, because he's just tearing teams apart. And then, as we always said, the Korean guy then as well, he's playing very good too. So, like, if they can keep going the way they're going, getting those results against teams like Bournemouth, which Bournemouth are terrible anyway, but, they'll be all right. Like, they'll be fine. They'll stay up mid-table around.
Yeah. And, Rob, just real quickly to you, Bournemouth, again, just absolutely terrible. Like, Lewis Cook, red card, changed the game, obviously, but... at home, that's probably a game they probably maybe look to getting something out of, but
we're running out of stuff to say about Bournemouth and how bad they're kind of doing. It's just every week it's just like they're going deeper and deeper into this hole, and there looks to be no way out for them. There's no what manager do you bring in? It'll be someone random if they do sack.
Big Sam.
Big Sam again. But he's not immune to being dropped now, to being relegated. So what's the point?
Would a manager like Graham Potter or something be interested in that?
No, maybe someone at box office like Alan Pardew or something. Class.
Ollie Gunnar.
He's the man I haven't seen. He's the man I haven't seen in years. Yeah, Alan Pardew.
Yeah, Pardew would be fun. Or Solskjaer would be mad. Like it's pure kind of like a football. But I would not see Solskjaer sacked or relegated again for the second time.
Definitely.
Yeah, they don't have anything. Don't have any good players. Like when you're basing your whole Premier League team and survival off Dominic Solanke, it really says a lot about your team.
Yeah, he's not really anything. He's not really a great striker. He's probably a championship striker, but
yeah,
he had so much potential at Liverpool. He just kind of never. I think that Liverpool move for him at the time was just not the right move.
It's funny, but Steven Gerrard could be the next manager for them. The way things are going over there.
The way it's going over in fucking
600 people watching.
That's crazy. Yeah. Because I've seen a lot of places on Twitter where being like, oh, like the 9th tier English football league had like 9,000 people at it. Here's this team with 600.
But yeah, they're paying how much for Henderson a week? Like how many?
Yeah. There you go.
And Jesse Lingard was asking for too much apparently.
I know that's like who the fuck do you think you are?
You think that
right going over there asking for loads.
A young prospect.
Yeah.
A young prospect. Hey, that's why.
But on that,
young prospects, he's been young for decades. We'll move on to our predictions then for match week 10, starting on Friday night. Crystal Palace at home to Tottenham. Oisín, we'll go with you first.
Tottenham 3-0.
Rob?
2-0 Tottenham.
Johnny?
2-1 Tottenham.
And Aaron?
Yeah, I think it'll be 0 anyway, so I'd say 3-0 to Tottenham.
Yeah, I think probably Tottenham 2-0 in that game. Just Palace can be good at home, but Tottenham are just on that run of form now, where they can probably beat anybody. Moving on to Saturday then, Chelsea, the early game at home to Brentford. Could potentially be a bit of a banana skin for Chelsea, especially after throwing away 2-goal lead against Arsenal. Oisín, go with you.
I think 1-0 Chelsea.
Rob?
2-1 Brentford.
Johnny?
1-1.
1-1. And Aaron?
2-1 Chelsea.
Yeah, probably go Johnny. I probably think a draw, probably a 1-1 draw, I think. Then Arsenal will be at home to Sheffield. A nice easy game there now. Although just saying that, probably Sheffield United 1-0 and coming. Oisín?
No, 3-0 Arsenal.
Rob?
4-0 Sheffield. Or sorry, 4-0 Arsenal. I said it with confidence. 4-0 Arsenal there.
Sorry.
Yeah, 4-0 Arsenal.
And Aaron?
I'm still going to say a close enough game, 2-1 to Arsenal.
3-0 Arsenal, I'd say. Right, next up then, basement battle. Bournemouth at home to Burnley. Oisín?
Don't give a shite. 1-1.
Fair enough.
I think
two teams really needing a performance and a win, so
get it done. 2-1 Bournemouth.
2-1 Bournemouth, Johnny.
Yeah, 1-0 Bournemouth.
Aaron.
Yeah, I think Burnley are so bad. Probably fucking. I'm gonna go 3-1 to Bournemouth.
I think it's just two teams as bad as each other. I think it'd probably be a draw, like a 1-1 or something like that. Probably. Then an interesting game then to end up on Saturday. Wolves at home to Newcastle. Both teams playing pretty well. Wolves will be looking to maybe take another big scalp, Oisín?
No, I think Newcastle will be too strong for them. I'd say this will be... I think they'll get a goal though, so I'll say 3-1 to Newcastle.
Rob?
Go either 2-1 Wolves or 2-2 draw.
All right, okay.
Yeah. I'll take the two of those predictions.
Two of them. Two predictions now. All right.
I want two.
Might as well go 2-1 Newcastle while you're at it as well. Go 3.
No.
Cover all your bases. Johnny?
2-1 Newcastle. I think that's going to be a great game.
Yeah. And Aaron?
Yeah, same. 2-1 to Newcastle.
Yeah, I think 2-1 Newcastle. I think it will be a very, very good game. All right, moving on then to Sunday. We'll have West Ham at home to Everton. I think West Ham need to win this game. I think just to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit. Like I said, they conceded a lot of goals in the last 5 games. So, Oisín?
I don't think they'll stop conceding, but I think West Ham will win. I'd
Rob?
say... 3-1.
3-1. Rob?
I think 2-1 West Ham.
Gianni?
2-0 West Ham.
Aaron?
1-1.
All right, yeah, I think probably West Ham do win it out. Yeah, maybe a 3-1 as well, I think. And then Villa Park, they'll look to keep their great home form going against Luton Town. Oisín?
6-0 Villa.
Ollie Watkins, 6 goals incoming. Rob?
I think 5-0 Villa.
Johnny?
3-0 Villa.
And Aaron?
I'm going to go 7-0 for the crack.
Ooh, all right,
I was going to go. I was going to go.
Just because Villa have Europe on Thursday, they might make a few changes on Sunday. So I'm probably going to say 3-0. 3-0 Villa. Moving on, it'll be to Amex, where Brighton are at home to Fulham. I think Brighton, like same thing as West Ham, they kind of need a win to stop the bleeding a bit. Like winless in the last what was it, last 6?
Yeah, 6 now.
Oisin, we'll go with you.
I think this will be a 2-1 Brighton.
Rob?
4-0 Brighton.
Johnny?
2-0 Brighton.
Aaron?
Yeah, 2-0 Brighton.
Yeah, I think Brighton probably. I think maybe Fulham snatch a goal. I'd say 3-1. 3-1 Brighton. Then it's going to be at Anfield, Liverpool at home to Nottingham Forest. Oisin?
I think it'll be 2-0 Liverpool.
Rob?
I want to say 4-1 Liverpool.
4-1 Liverpool. Johnny?
3-1 Liverpool.
And Azza?
2-1 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool. Yeah, I think probably, don't have to wait too much. Probably 3-0 Liverpool, I'd say. And then the big one for the weekend, Manchester United at home to Man City. Oisin?
0-0.
0-0.
Do you believe that?
What do you mean, Dylan?
No, I don't. I think it'll be 2-0 United.
Right, Rob. It's even more far-fetched.
Yeah, I don't know, boys, to be honest. I want to say 2-1 United, but I also want to say fucking 3-0 City.
Rob's already going through it.
Man, I didn't want to answer this question.
Yeah,
I want to say 2-1 United, but to be honest, I think it'll be like 3-0 City.
Johnny?
2-1 United all day.
2-1
United.
Yes.
We can't score at the moment, though. That's the only thing.
We're so bad.
Boys, you know what I mean? Like, kind of phone
we
out the
always
window in these games. Like,
we always put the City. I'm gonna say a win for us. 1-0. Fuck it.
I know. I'll confidently go back and say, I'll underline the 2-1 United, but we're going to keep the 3-0 City as well.
I think form goes out the window here, so I think probably a draw game, probably 2-2. All right, so that's going to do it from us here on the Horny Football Podcast. I want to thank all the lads for all their input and predictions this evening. I want to thank you all for viewing, and let us know down in the comments what your thoughts and predictions are for this coming game week action. We'll catch you all next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay horny.